Okay, good morning student. Today I am going to take class 11 English Ncert book. The chapter 3, let me write in board. Chapter 3. Discovering thought. Thought, okay? The saga continue. The saga continue. A.R. Williams. By A.R. Williams. Okay. Here is the writer. Now, in this chapter, what we are going to be study about discovery of thoughts. Okay. You see here. Third means a powerful ruler of Egypt. Who was third? That was a powerful Egypt. Okay, a powerful ruler of Egypt. Now, let's discuss before we start chapter, let's highlight it here. This expression in the text is infer the meaning from the context. You see here, scalded across means moved surface. Okay, moved surface, and cascade gray means area, and resurrection means rebirth. Okay, resurrection. Here you found resurrection means rebirth, new word. Okay. Let's see. Now you see here. He was just a teenager when he died. Who? The saga, okay, the saga, the Egypt or the ruler of Egypt, okay. The author refer here he as a ruler of that Egypt. When he died, the ruler of Egypt died, he was only a teenager. The last heir of a powerful family that had ruled Egypt and its emperor for a century. He was laid to rest laden. Okay. Laden means leaded. Okay. He was what? Leaded. Okay. With gold and eventually forgotten since the discovery of his tomb in 1922. Here is the discovery. Third means the powerful. Third, I already wrote there. A powerful ruler of Egypt. Here, the discovery of tomb in the year 1922. The modern world has speculated about what happened to him, with murder being the most extreme possibility. The people of Egypt, what they thought that the death of the king, okay, the death of the king was possibility to what? Extremely possibility to what? It was a murder. Now, leaving his tomb for the first time in almost 80 years, Tut has undergone a CT scan that offered new clues about his life and death and provide precious data for an accurate first-hand resurrection of the para. Okay. Here is what is saying that it is a CT scan. Okay, CT scan to whom? To a Egypt king. Okay, they send a Egypt king to a CT scan. Almost it's 40 years. Tut has undergo a CT scan offer new clue about his. Why they send to the Tut as a CT scan? For what? They wanted what? They wanted to clue about his life and death and provide precious data. Okay. Now, an angry wing stared up ghostly, thus devil as king. Tut was what? Taking from his resistant place in ancient Egyptians cemetery known as the Valley of King. Cemetery, okay, cemetery here means the place where dead body are buried. Okay. the place where the dead body are buried. Okay. An angry wind stirred up ghostly thus devil as King Tut was taken from his rest place in ancient Egyptian cemetery known as the Valley of King. That place is known as what? Where the dead body was buried. That place is known as the Valley of King. At that time, what they found? They found the angry wind stirred. The wind was blowing and ghostly dark devil. Okay. Now, dark violet cloud and sudden across the desert sky all the day, and now were reeling the star in cascade grey. I already told what is cascade grey. Where I wrote? Cascade grey means area. Okay, area. Cascade grey means area. Okay. It was the what set across the desert sky all the day, and now were revealing the star in a cascade grey. It was an area of that desert sky. Okay. It was 6 p.m. on 5th January 2005. It was about 6 p.m. on the years of 5th January 2005. The world's most famous mummies. Okay, the mummies glided head first into a CT scanner brought here to prove the lingering medical mysteries of his little understood young ruler who died more than 3,300 years ago. It's about all long from 3,300 years ago. The gold painted. Okay, gilded means gold painted. The mummy's death was what? Here you found a new one. Gilded. Gold painted. Okay. The mummies, the world famous gold painted mummies were what? First into a CT scanner brought here to prove where lingering medical mysteries. They have to be reached here. They have to be in for the CT scanner for the proof of death mysteries of King of the Egypt. Understood? Younger ruler who died more than how many years? 3,300 years ago. All afternoon, the usual line of tourists from around the world had descended into cramped, rock-cut tomb, some 26 feet underground to pay their respect, and the gauge at the mural. Okay, mural here means painting on the wall. New word again. Painting on the wall, that is called mural. And they found there in the afternoon what? The usual line of tourists from around the world had descended into the cramped and rock cut down tomb, some 26 feet underground to pay their respect. The gaze at the mural, that means the painting on the wall. Okay, on the wall, mural on the walls on the of the burial chamber and peered at Tut's glint face. The most striking feature of his mummy-shaped outer coffin lid. Some visitors read from guidebooks in whisper, others stood silently, perhaps pondering Tut's untimely death in his late teens, or wondering with a shiver if the pharaoh's curse, death or misfortune falling upon those who disturbed him was really true. In this, what we found that at the mural, the wall was painted. Okay, the wall was painted on the burial chamber, and the tooth glided face. Okay, glided face, and the most striking feature of mummy's shape was outer coffin lid, and some of the visitors read from guidebook in a whisper, and others stood silently where in the murals on the wall, silently and perhaps pouring Tut's untimely death in the late teens. He, the Raja, the king, they died in untimely teens. Here means in the age of teenage, teenage. Or wondering with a shiver if perhaps curse, death or misfortune falling upon those who disturbed him was really true. He took those who was disturbed him, it was a really true. The mummy is in bad condition because of what Carter did in 1920s. The mummies was what? The mummies was what? Very bad condition because of the Carter, the Carters did in the 1920s. Sorry, live is gone. Wait a minute for light. Not able to see. Let's continue. And where we are, and here you see the mummies were very bad condition of what the caterer did, said Jahi Hawass, Secretary General of the Egypt Supreme Council of Antiquities, as he learned over the body for long first law. Who said this? Jahi Hawass. Who was Jahi Hawass? He was a Secretary General of Egypt's long first law, Carter. Carter Hawass, that is, was the British archaeologist who in 1922 discovered Thoth's tomb after years of futile searching. Who was the Jahi Hawass? He was an archaeologist who in 1920 discovered the Thoth's tomb after years of futile searching. In contents thought hastily ransacked in antiquity were surprisingly complete. They remain the richest royal collection were found and have become a part of that pharaoh legend. Stunning artifact in gold, their internal brilliance mean to guarantee resurrection cause a sensation at the time of discovery and still get the most attention, but Tooth was also buried with everyday things he didn't want in the afterlife. Board games, a bronze Roger, Lenin, undergarment, causes of food and wine. It is talking about whom? Jahi Hawaz. Okay, Jahi Hawaz, who was an archaeologist of that Egypt, and he was a royal collection found ever have become a part of Pharaoh's legend. Okay, stagnant effort and the internal brilliance to grant the resurrection. Okay, guarantee the resurrection causes ascension at the time of discovery. Okay, he is the person who discovery and get the attention which already buried. For example, the Egyptian ruler who was already buried, and that tooth was found by whom? There. Jahi Hawaz, a secretary of Egypt. Okay, and what he guaranteed that the resurrection means rebirth. Okay, the person who did for a good things, he will be what? Resurrection. He will be a rebirth. Let's see how it is a rebirth. Causes ascension of the time discovery and still get a most attention, but the tooth was buried with Roger, lining undergarment, causes of food and wine. They what? Buried with everything he didn't want in after life. Okay, and board games, for example, a bronze Roger, leaning undergarment, and cases of food and wine. After month of carefully recording the Pharaoh's funerary treasurer, okay, the Carter began investigate his tree. The Carter began investigate his three-nested coffin. Opened the first, he found a shroud adornment with garland of willow and olive leaf and cherry, lotus petal and cornflowers, that fated evidence of a burial in March or April. When he finally reached the mummy, though he ran into trouble, the ritual resigned had hardened. Cementing tooth means a place where dead body are buried. Okay, he ran a what? A ritual did in the place of where the dead body is tooth, and then okay. No amount of legitimate force could be moved them. Carter wrote later, who was to be done? The sun can beat down like a hammer his far south in Egypt, and Carter tried to use it, losing the reason. Okay, the Carter here means chronology. Okay, the Carter here means the chronology. You can see here. Okay, the Carter here means a chronology, and the ritual was what? Resins had hardened. It's difficult to what? The bottom of solid whole coffin. Okay, the place where that body was buried, it is in the bottom of his solid gold coffin. There is no amount of force to move them. And the chronology wrote later what was to be done. The sun can be beat down like a hammer his far south in the Egypt. They have to be followed according to their chronology. Okay. That is the reason the sun can beat down like a hammer. Okay. And this far south Egypt, and Carter tried to use, Carter here means chronology, tried to use it, losing the reason for several hours. He set the mummies outside in blazing sunshine that heated it to 149 degrees for heat. At that time, what he did that the mummies to be outside for what? To blazing sunshine that heated it to 149 degrees Fahrenheit. Nothing budged. He reported with scientific detachment that the consolidated material had to be what? Chillies away from beneath the limbs and trunks before it was possible to raise the king's remains. What he's saying that? He's saying that the sunshine that heated it to how many degrees? It was 149 degrees. For what? Fahrenheit. And nothing but he report with scientific detachment that the consolidated material had to be what? Chiseled away from the beneath of the limbs and trunk before it was possible to raise the king remains. Okay. See the next. In his defense, Carter really had little choice. In his defense, the author, okay, he was, sorry, not author, I am talking about that general of Egypt, Secretary General of the Egypt. And he defends who? A General Secretary of Egypt. Okay. Carter really had little choice. The chronology had a little choice. If he had not cut the mummy free, Tibbs most certainly would have circumvented the guard and ripped it apart to remove the gold. Who said? The Secretary General said that if he couldn't, okay, cut the mummies free, and if he couldn't, and then it will be the most certain, okay, thieves would most certain have circumvented the guard and ripped it apart to remove the gold. In Tuts, the time royal were fabulously wealthy, and they thought or hoped they could take their riches with them. At that time, okay, at the around 1920s, at that time the king of Egyptian, they thought that they hoped and thought that they could take their riches with them. For this journey to the great beyond, King Tut was lavished with glittering goods, precious collar, inlaid necklace and bracelet, ring, amulet, a ceremonial apron, sandals, seeds for his finger and toes, the now iconic inner coffin and marks, all pure gold. Okay, here what it's saying, that at time the King Tuts, okay, the name of the king Egypt, the King Tuts, here they charge, lavish means church, okay, ring, amulet, ceremony upon, sandal seeds for their finger, toes and iconic inner coffin and marks, all of pure gold. It must be what? Pure gold. It was a pure gold. The separate tooth from his adornment, curtailment, removed the mummy had and severed nearly every major joint. Once they had finished, they remained on the letter of stand in a wooden box with padding that cancel the damage the bed were to now test. Okay, what is saying that Caterman, the chronology, who wrote the chronology, they removed the mummy's head and severed nearly major joint part. They removed, and once they had finished, they resemble. Restart the remain on the layer of sand in the wooden box, and with padding the conceal with damage the bed with tooth now rest. Okay, conceal here means keep something secret. Okay, keep something sacred, that is called what? A council. Okay, and padding here means box with padding the council. Padding means what? Steal something. Store. Now see, okay, you see here, and sand in the wooden box with a padding, then means stole something that keep something sacred, the damage the bed where to now rest. Now see the next para. Archaeology has changed subsequently in the intervention decades, focusing less on treasure and more on fascinating details of life and intriguing mysteries of death. What is saying that the archaeologist has changed substantially in intervention decades, focusing less on treasure, more on fascinating. Archaeology was changed, subsequently, and it was what? Intervention of decades, focusing less on treasure and more on fascinating details of life and intriguing mysteries of death. They try to find out. It also uses more sophisticated tools, including medical technology. Even they use a medical technology for what? For found. In the year 1968, more than 40 years after Carter's discovery, an anatomy professor X-ray and mummies and revealed starting fact. Beneath the resign, the cake, his chest, his breast, bone and front rib are missing. After 40 years, after the years of 40, the Ncert discover, okay, discover what? An anatomy professor, X-ray the mummy and reveal the startling fact like beneath the recent decades, his chest and his breast bone and front rib all are missing. Today, diagnostic imagine can be done with computed tomography or CT scan. This full form, okay, CT, computer tomography. Computer tomography, okay, and by which hundreds of X-rays in across the section are put together like slice of bread to create a three-dimensional virtually body. And they use what? CT scan, okay, and then X-ray. The hundred of X-ray across the section they put like slice of bread, created three-dimensional virtually the body. What more would a CT scan reveal of to than the X-ray, and could it answer two of the biggest questions still lingering about how did he die and how old was he at the time of his death? What he's saying, a person who died, okay, a person who died an ant or falling off something, they have to be what left after his CT scan and all they found time of his death. The king thought dismiss was a big event even by royal standards. The death of the king tooth, okay, it was a what? It was big and dismissed of his standards. And he was the last of family line, and his funeral was the death rattle of a dynasty, but the participant, his passing away and its aftermath are unclear. What in this chapter we found? We found that the king was dismissed a big event, even the royal standard, okay, and he was the family last line, and his funeral was the date of red dynasty, but a particular of his passing away and his aftermath are unclear. So that's why they are engaging many things, no? For discovery to this king tooth or for their resurrection. So I conclude the chapter today. Tomorrow we'll continue to the story. For today this much. Tomorrow I'll continue the chapter from page number 25, last para. Okay, thank you for today. It's enough. This much.